There's something almost defiant about YouTube's existence in 2025. While Netflix charges you $23 a month, Disney Plus locks its vault behind a paywall, and Amazon Prime bundles streaming into a subscription empire, YouTube just sits there, free, open, infinite. It's the last place on the internet where you can watch a billion-dollar documentary, a basement guitar cover, and a cat falling off a table, all without paying a single cent. But it wasn't always this obvious that YouTube would survive. Rewind to 2005, 3 guys in a garage uploaded a video of elephants at a zoo. The platform was a mess, clunky, chaotic, filled with grainy webcam footage and copyright chaos. The media laughed, the studios ignored it, even Google, after buying it for $165 billion in 2006, wasn't sure what they just purchased. And yet, while everyone else tried to build walls, YouTube built a universe. It didn't charge admission. It didn't promise quality. It just let anyone upload anything, and the world responded by uploading everything. The early 2000s were the golden age of optimism. The internet was supposed to be free, open, and democratic, but one by one, every platform betrayed that promise. Music went behind Spotify Premium. Movies disappeared into Netflix. News locked itself behind paywalls. Even social media started charging for features. But YouTube stayed free. Not because it was noble. Not because it believed in some digital utopia. But because it stumbled into a strategy so powerful, so scalable, so brutally efficient that it accidentally became unstoppable. The question isn't why YouTube survived. The question is, how did it survive every war while everyone else collapsed under their own greed? How did a platform built on amateur videos outlast billion-dollar studios? How did the site that once hosted Charlie Bit My Finger become more valuable than Hollywood? And most importantly, what did YouTube understand that Netflix, Disney, and every other streaming giant completely missed? Because here's the truth. YouTube didn't just survive the streaming wars, it ended them. But first, if you want more stories like this, hit that like button and subscribe to Stream Clash. By 2010, YouTube wasn't a joke anymore. It was a threat. The platform that Hollywood dismissed as amateur hour was suddenly pulling 1 billion views a day. Teenagers with webcams were getting more attention than primetime television. A Swedish gamer named PewDiePie was earning millions by screaming at video games, and the old guard, they panicked. Television networks tried to shut it down with lawsuits. Viacom sued Google for $1 billion, claiming YouTube was built on stolen content. Music labels tried to strangle it with copyright strikes. Hollywood studios launched their own YouTube killers. Remember Hulu's original vision? Remember when NBC thought they could just pull their content and people would follow? They were wrong. Because YouTube had already figured out something the studios never understood. People don't want to watch what you want them to watch. They want to watch what they want to watch. It sounds obvious now. But in 2010, it was revolutionary. Netflix was still mailing DVDs. Cable TV was still king. The idea that millions of people would rather watch a makeup tutorial than a $100 million blockbuster seemed insane. But the data didn't lie. YouTube wasn't competing with TV. It was replacing it, and the secret weapon, ads. While Netflix bet everything on subscriptions, YouTube built the largest advertising marketplace in human history. Every view, every click, every second of watch time was monetized. Not through paywalls, not through bundling, but through the oldest business model in media. Advertisers pay to reach audiences. It was messy, it was chaotic, but it worked. By 2015, YouTube was paying out billions to creators, not actors, not studios, but regular people with cameras and internet connections. The creator economy was born, and suddenly the power shifted. Hollywood spent $200 million on a movie and hoped people would show up. YouTube spent nothing and let millions of creators compete for attention. The best content rose to the top. The worst disappeared. The algorithm became the news studio executive cold. Ruthless and terrifyingly efficient, traditional media tried to fight back. They launched YouTube channels, they hired influencers. They tried to go viral, but they didn't understand the game. YouTube wasn't a platform. It was an ecosystem, a self-sustaining, infinitely scalable content machine that fed on attention and turned it into money. And while the old studios were still figuring out how to upload videos, a new generation was already building empires. Creators were launching product lines, touring the world, and making more money than most Hollywood actors, all without a single gatekeeper. The battleground had shifted, and the war, it was already over. Then came the golden age of streaming, or so they thought. Between 2015 and 2020, every company on earth decided they needed a streaming platform. Disney launched Disney Plus, Apple launched Apple TV Plus. HBO became HBO Max, Nobody's really sure anymore. Paramount Plus, Peacock, Discovery Plus, the list became a graveyard of brands trying to chase Netflix's success. Wall Street loved it. Investors poured billions into content wars. Netflix spent $17 billion a year on originals. Disney bet the company on streaming. Amazon dumped $1 billion into a Lord of the Rings prequel that most people forgot existed. And for a while, it worked. Subscriptions soared. Studios pulled their content off Netflix and locked it in their own vaults. Every company wanted to be the next Netflix. But then reality hit. By 2022, the cracks started to show. Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in a decade. Disney Plus bled money despite hitting 100 million users. Warner Brothers Discovery wrote off billions in content that never found an audience. The problem was simple. Running a streaming platform is insanely expensive. You need a massive content library. You need original shows that people actually want to watch. You need global infrastructure. You need to fight piracy. You need to outspend your competitors while somehow making a profit, and most companies, they couldn't do it. By 2023, the industry entered full meltdown mode. Prices went up, password sharing crackdowns began. Entire shows were deleted to avoid paying residuals. Streaming services started merging. Layoffs swept through Hollywood. Meanwhile, YouTube just kept growing. In 2023, YouTube accounted for 10% of all television viewing in the United States, not just online video. All TV, including cable, including streaming. Netflix spent $17 billion on content. YouTube spent almost nothing and got more watch time. Disney burned billions trying to compete. YouTube made $30 billion in ad revenue. The difference? YouTube never had to pay for content. Creators made it for free, or rather, for a cut of the ad money. YouTube never had to worry about licensing deals, actor strikes, or production budgets spiraling out of control. While every streaming service was trapped in a race to spend more, YouTube just opened the floodgates and let the world create. And the world did. Every minute, 500 hours of video were uploaded to YouTube. Most of it was garbage, but the algorithm didn't care. It just surfaced what people wanted to watch. No executives, no focus groups, just raw, data-driven content discovery. By 2024, the streaming wars were over. Not because someone won, but because everyone except YouTube lost. Somewhere along the way, the power shifted. It wasn't a sudden revolution. It was slow, quiet, and almost invisible until suddenly. Creators were bigger than the studios themselves. By 2020, the top YouTubers had larger audiences than most TV networks. A single PewDiePie video could reach more people than a Super Bowl ad. And unlike traditional celebrities, these creators own their audiences. No studio contracts, no network deals. Just a direct line to millions of people who chose to watch them every single day. Hollywood hated it, because for the first time in a century, they weren't in control. Actors went on strike in 2023, demanding better pay and protections from AI. Meanwhile, YouTubers were casually launching energy drink brands worth hundreds of millions. Logan Paul turned a podcast into $1 billion media empire. Emma Chamberlain became the face of luxury fashion without ever needing a Hollywood agent. The old system was collapsing, but the new system, it was chaos. YouTube became a battlefield of copyright strikes, demonetization scandals, and algorithm conspiracies. Advertisers freaked out when their ads appeared next to controversial content. Creators accused YouTube of shadow banning them. Entire channels were deleted overnight with no explanation. The platform that promised creative freedom became a minefield of rules, restrictions, and corporate anxiety. And yet, creators kept coming, because despite the chaos, despite the uncertainty, YouTube was still the only place where a kid with a camera could become a millionaire. No auditions, no agents, no gatekeepers, just upload, optimize, and pray the algorithm notices you. It was brutal. It was unfair. It was the most democratized entertainment industry in history. And YouTube just watched the chaos unfold and collected its cut. By 2024, the creator economy was worth over $150 billion. Bigger than the global box office, bigger than the music industry, bigger than Hollywood itself. The revolution was complete. Creators weren't just competing with studios anymore. They were the studios and the old guard. They were left scrambling to survive in a world they no longer controlled. So, how did YouTube do it? How did a platform that started with a video of elephants at a zoo outlast billion-dollar media empires? The answer isn't luck. It's strategy, but not the kind of strategy most companies understand. YouTube didn't try to create the best content. It created infinite content. While Netflix spent billions on a handful of shows, YouTube let millions of creators upload for free. While Disney fought to control every frame of every movie, YouTube let the internet run wild. The result? An endless, self-renewing library that cost YouTube almost nothing to produce, but the real genius. The ad model. Every other streaming platform tried to make money by charging users. YouTube made money by charging advertisers. And here's the trick. YouTube's ad revenue doesn't depend on one blockbuster show. It depends on billions of views across millions of videos, a cooking tutorial, a gaming livestream, a true crime documentary. Every single view generates money. Netflix needs you to love Stranger Things. YouTube just needs you to watch something. That difference. It's everything. Because Netflix can lose subscribers if their shows aren't good enough. But YouTube can't lose. There's always something else to watch. And the more you watch, the better the algorithm gets at keeping you there. By 2024, YouTube had become the world's largest advertising platform, bigger than Facebook, bigger than television, bigger than anything that came before it. But the real power move. YouTube didn't just win the streaming wars, it made the streaming wars irrelevant. While Disney and Netflix fought over exclusive content, YouTube just absorbed everything: movie reviews, TV recaps, behind-the-scenes footage, fan theories, reaction videos. YouTube became the second screen for every piece of media ever made. You watch The Mandalorian on Disney+, then you go to YouTube to watch breakdowns, theories, and critiques. Disney spent billions making the show. YouTube made money off people talking about it. That's not competition, that's domination. And the best part, YouTube never had to spend a dime. The creators did all the work. The algorithm did all the curation, and YouTube just collected its 45% cut of every ad dollar. It's the most efficient media empire ever built, and everyone else, they were playing a game they could never win. So here we are, 2025. Netflix is merging with whoever will take them. Disney is raising prices again. Paramount doesn't know if it still exists. HBO Max became something nobody remembers. And YouTube is still free, still growing, still printing money. It's the last giant standing in a war it never officially entered. But here's the uncomfortable truth. YouTube didn't survive because it was better. It survived because it was different. It never tried to replace Hollywood. It just ignored it, and in doing so, it built something Hollywood could never replicate: a platform where infinite content, infinite creators, and infinite attention created an economic engine that doesn't need subscriptions, doesn't need hits, and doesn't need permission. It's the most powerful media company in history, and it's the only one that doesn't charge you to watch. But that raises a question. What happens when there's no competition left? What happens when YouTube is the only free platform? When every alternative has collapsed into paywalls, bundles, and subscription fatigue? What happens when the last free giant is the only game in town? Because right now, YouTube doesn't need to charge. The ad money is too good, the ecosystem is too powerful, the dominance is too complete. But empires don't stay free forever. And when the last giant decides it's time to cash in, when the algorithm starts favoring premium subscribers, when ads become unbearable, when free slowly becomes free with limits, where will we go? Because here's the final twist. YouTube didn't kill the streaming wars by being better. It killed them by being patient, and now, with no one left to fight, the real question isn't whether YouTube won. It's what YouTube does next. So what do you think? Is YouTube the hero of the streaming wars, or just the last empire waiting to betray us? Drop your thoughts below. And if you made it this far, you know what to do: subscribe. Because the story of the internet's biggest battles, it's far from over.